Hello, TopFanRivalry followers, and welcome to another edition of the Weekly Review. That's Jackson. I'm Bill. We're gonna nail it today for you, Jackson. How the heck are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
One fantastic person. Giddy up. Anyways, Jackson, we gotta dive right into it because there's so much going on, and I actually have an honorable mention today that I think you'll like. So let's start out. Take us, lead us, lead us to the promised land. What's number one?
My number one is going to be the Seattle Mariners have made a gap. They are now 6.5 games up. They're 16-6 in one-run games.
Hmm.
Um, after walking the White Sox off last night, take that as you will. But it looks like the Mariners are finally starting to, go on a run here with how Texas has been beat up and how the Astros have been inconsistent. You know, if they can keep this up and nobody else makes a move, the AL West might be. I'm not going to call it over because there's going to be a lot of games, but it's going to be very comfortable for Seattle sitting up there heading into the All-Star break.
It's funny that you mentioned that because what's it been, 20 some odd years or 20 years since Seattle's won the division?
Yep.
And I'm not gonna lie to you, it's I still think they have an up road hole because the the Astros are so good, but Astros are starting to not look so awesome.
Yeah, they kind of clawed back into it, then fell back off a cliff. They got to the top. If you've seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, someone is extending the arm to pull them up, and Danny DeVito's there with the board pushing them back down. So
Yeah, yeah, it is that's a very good reference. It's a very good reference. And yeah, it's they need to be better. They're running out of time. Just ask Dave. They're running out of time.
yep.
Period. And so, yeah, I'm concerned for the Astros, but like you said, the Seattle Mariners are kind of making it happen, right?
They're getting it done. It's not pretty, but it's hey, ugly wins count the same as winning 11-1. That it just impacts your fan base a little bit more when you make everything a one-run game.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So you're going to talk about a team that is really kind of finding out what is really happening. Have you paid attention to what the Cubs are doing?
I have.
The Cubs are seven since May 19th. They are 7-16 since May 19th. They are figuratively and literally falling apart. It surprises me because they made that run, and who's sneaking up on them?
The Reds, the
And
Pirates.
Pirates. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Reds and the Pirates, which is what we called at the beginning of this season. Pay attention to the Reds, pay attention to the Pirates. But the Cubs, who I thought were going to be fantabulous, are not fantabulous. They are something besides for that. What's the opposite of fantabulous?
Not good. Well,
Yeah,
I'll take the nice for it and just say not good.
the man of many words there, ladies and gentlemen. Not good.
Yeah. I mean, and if you look at it, Chicago's pitching's been fantastic. It's really just kind of the starting pitching's been good. The bullpen has been atrocious, and the bats just can't keep up with it every night. When
Yep.
you're throwing away quality starts every night, it's really hard as a hitter to get motivated. Your starter comes out of the game and go, "Oh, great! I probably have to put three more on the board here to feel safe."
Hmm.
Definitely a mentality sort of thing, and with how beat up Milwaukee has been, they should probably be a lot closer in 7 games. But here we are. Milwaukee's taking advantage of the Cubs not playing well, and they've kind of built that 7 game lead up, and they look pretty good. So I'll throw some love Milwaukee's way. While
Throw some
saying
love, Milwaukee.
the Cubs need to figure it out. They just signed Jorge free souvenir Lopez. You might get a glove next time you go to Wrigley Field. So heads up, everyone.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know,
Don't bring
I,
your
I don't.
glove. Jorge may give you one.
He may give you one, but I don't think that's going to fix how bad their bullpen's going to be. They're going to need to make some major moves if they want to get back in the divisional race. The wild card is something else completely.
Yep. Yep. Okay, so talk to me about your number two.
I'll end on that to plug into the NL wild card race is insane right now, Bill. We got 4 or 5. I got to make sure my count is right. There's
Wild card.
six teams within the last wild card spot out of like the 9 teams that aren't like division leader in the wild card spot. Um, all 4 NL Central teams behind the Brewers are within a game. Arizona is a game and a half. The Nationals are a game back. So, there's a lot of, I don't want to use the word mediocrity, but they're all pretty mediocre. Fighting for that last wild card spot. National League's been pretty even in that. But you mentioned it. The teams creeping up on the Cubs. The Pittsburgh Pirates are the ones I want to focus on. And how about probably the rookie of the year if he continues to play well and stays healthy? Paul Skeens. You know, top draft pick, most anticipated debut since Steven Strasburg. That was like almost 15 years ago now, 14, 15 years ago.
Right.
He comes in, and I think he's really kind of helped turn the Pirates around. Their rotation looks really good. They just need to figure out the bats. Rotation bullpen good. So, but if the Pirates can get into the playoffs as a wild card team, this is a team a lot of people are going to write off as a bad team because it's just the Pittsburgh Pirates. This is a scary team in the playoffs if you have to face Paul Skeens, Jared Jones, Mitch Keller, and then they got Holderman in the 8th and David Bednar, who's turned it around after a rough start to the season in the 9th. This is a dangerous team in the playoffs. I would not want to face them in a 3-game series or even a 5-game series because they can steal 2 to 3 games from you pretty easily.
I agree with that. I agree with that, and I think there's a lot to be said there. I mean, you and I talked about this earlier. The Pirates and the Reds, I thought were going to run away with this division. I thought it was going to be a two-man pony race, but apparently, Milwaukee says, "Hold on a second, Bill. We're not done here yet." And the Cubs, yeah, the Cubs are cubbing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I so I want to point out another team for my number two, a team that most people aren't paying attention to, and rightfully so because their division is so doggone good. But the Boston Red Sox have one of the best ERAs in baseball, yet they're barely 500. And when you talk to Mike over at Unraveling the Red Sox, he'll tell you straight up and straight out. He'll tell you that it has a lot to do with the fact that either they hit some nights or they pitch some nights. Very few nights do they do it, both in the same. And yesterday was a perfect example. They beat the Philadelphia Phillies 8-6, right? They had to score 8 runs to beat Philly. There's something to be said about that, Jackson. What do you think about the Red Sox?
Uh, they're one of those teams where they play 500 baseball. It's a 500 ball club. This is the most dangerous team in baseball within 2 games of 500. If they're 2 games, if they're 2 games under and you're heading to a 3-game set, you're probably going to lose the series, maybe even get swept. But if they're at 500 or above, you might take a series from them. They've really kind of found that groove of 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That little tango that some teams do, and I mean, I agree with you. I think this is a team a lot of people can sleep on. If they could figure out how to put it all together at once with the pitching rotation they have and the bullpen they have a good lineup still. I mean, Rafael Devers is a really good hitter. They got guys like Tristan Casas, who's currently injured but could come back. I think part of the reason for that inconsistency is they've run through like 50. It's probably a little high, but they're trying to find their feet as a lineup. But if they do, this is a dangerous wild card team because they can pitch. And the playoffs teams that pitch well usually do well. Go figure, right?
Wait a second. Wait a second. Are you telling me that if you can pitch well, you can do well?
Yes. The biggest concern is probably they lead the league in errors with like 50 something.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Did you just teach me that if you pitch well, you can do well?
Yes. In fact, here to throw my favorite team under the bus, the Braves won 14 games in May. in which they held the opposition to less than 3 runs, while having the worst offense in Major League Baseball. Take that as you will for the month of May.
So wait a second, wait a second. The Braves only held the opposition to 3 runs over 14 games.
No, so they
I'm
what?
just teasing you. I'm
Yeah,
teasing
yeah,
you, Jackson.
yeah. That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Only giving up 3 runs over a 14-game stretch. Oh man,
Jackson's like, say what? Oh, come on, Bill. We know
retort,
better
but
than
I
that.
didn't have one prepared.
There you go. Jackson, what do you got for number
Yeah,
three?
come on. My number three. I mean, I'm sure you're going to talk about him, but I guess all rise for Aaron Judge.
Ah, took my number three. I said back in early May when he had 13 home runs that he would have 32 home runs or better at the All-Star break. How am I looking, Jackson?
You're looking pretty good. He's at 25. He's on an absolute tear. He's got a 702 slugging percentage.
Yep.
He's at five. He's at 5 WAR already, Bill.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably gift wrapped up. If he regresses back to his career average of a paltry 994 OPS, you could probably gift wrap him the MVP award. He's been otherworldly. I wrote an article about him this week. You can check that out in the locker room. But I think the big key is he has protection this year. Teams can't really pitch around him as much anymore.
Yeah.
Soto's been hitting really well, and guess who's back? Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is back from the dead. 91 slugging. He hit a 17th home run last night. He might, if he has another good couple of years, he might set his Hall of Fame trajectory back on track. But yeah, the Yankees are really good, and it's their big three, the guys that they pay lots of money to hit well or hitting well. So
yeah. Well, Jackson, I have to say, Aaron Judge, he's built to hit the ball. So for those of you that don't understand, to hit a home run, it's not that difficult. It's not as difficult as you think, okay? Because just simple mathematics, right? Simple physics. You've got a ball coming at you 90 plus miles an hour. You're swinging. Just the fact that it's going that fast, if you connect with it well and you can hit it hard enough, you can get it out of the yard. Now, mind you, the key is to be able to connect with the ball. You have less than a second to respond. You have less than a second from the time that the ball leaves the pitcher's hand, which is supposed to be 60 feet 6 inches away. But when you think about the pitcher's glide and where his arm is when he releases the ball, it's about 58 feet away from you. And so you have 58 feet and you have a 90 plus mile an hour fastball. You have less than a second to figure out how to swing. So that's why hitting a baseball is one of the hardest things to do. So that being said, Aaron is amazing, but he's also built for it, man. The guy's built like a Greek god, right?
what is it, 6'7", 280, something like that.
Yeah. So now tell me, as a baseball fan, and you've watched a lot of baseball, you've seen a lot of Hall of Famers, is Aaron Judge putting together a resume for the Hall of Fame?
Absolutely. If he's just an all-star level slugger for the rest of his career, he might accumulate enough stats to get in. I know he's 32, but the DH exists, and I think a lot of his injuries have been kind of those freak injuries. But when he's on the field, he just hits home runs, and that's the thing. He doesn't need to be on the field a ton. Last year, he played 106 games. He hit 37 home runs, Bill.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So even the season, if he does suffer, a few knocks here and there, in 100-game seasons, he's very capable of hitting 30 to 40 home runs. I think he can make it. He's got what, 8 years left on his contract, something.
8 years left on his contract. When you do the numbers,
Stupid.
how many home runs does he have currently?
This season
No,
or
total.
career?
Career.
282.
282. So if you do the numbers, and we're just going to play it down, and we're going to say he only hits 40 home runs on average for the next 8 seasons. Only 40. Now, this year he'll probably pass that. Next year he'll probably pass that. But let's allow regression to happen based on age. So that's 320 more home runs. Plus, he's probably going to hit another 20 home runs this season, give or take, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, you're looking at another 340 home runs. That puts him over 600 home runs for his
Easily.
career.
Yeah. I mean, if his full 162 game average is 51 home runs, which is just stupid. Um, so like I said, he's had problems with health, but he doesn't need to play the full season to put up the kinds of numbers he would normally need to
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. But
put up
I'm
to
I,
get.
I'm here to say that if he gets 500 home runs in his career, he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Oh, easy.
Yep, yep, yep. Uh, 500 home runs is a Hall of Famer. All right. So for my number three, Jackson, we need to talk about the series between those Bronx Bombers that we were just talking about and the 2024 World Champion Los Angeles Dodgers that just ended this last weekend. Um, I don't care if you are, I don't care if you hate the Yankees and the Dodgers or you hate baseball or whatever. That was a very good series. The first game that went into 11 innings, the second game where the 2024 World Champion Los Angeles Dodgers took it to the Yankees 11-3. The third game where the Dodgers blew it. I'm sorry, the 2024 World Champion Los Angeles Dodgers blew it. But Jackson, tell me that wasn't a great series to watch.
It was measuring stick in June. I know people like to hype up, future World Series matchup whenever there's a big interleague matchup. Let's just enjoy the baseball for what it is. It's two really good teams. The Yankees had the best pitching in the MLB, top five offense. Dodgers are top five in both, and they do this year in, year out, except for the last year for the Yankees was like a weird year for them. But yeah, and I expect going forward that it's probably going to be more of the same every time the Yankees or the Dodgers play another team in their league or in interleague. It's going to generate buzz just because they are the big teams.
Mhm.
A funny note for you is MLB was putting on their merchandising in London that two of the teams that play Major League Baseball are indeed the Yankees and the Dodgers. Such is their global influence that people don't even know what league they play in, so they have to tell people on the merch, "Hey, it's Major League Baseball. These guys." So because it's like the fashion or whatever. But
My
yeah,
my favorite play in that whole series was Aaron Judge against Shohei Ohtani. Sunday Night Baseball. Shohei decides to tag, and Aaron throws a great throw. Shohei just beat it by a half a step, right? And do you know what play I'm talking about?
yeah,
I mean, that was fun. That was Aaron against Shohei, and
yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
it's a great example. Sometimes you just can't do anything as a fielder. You're not getting them out no matter how,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, Aaron made a perfect throw. He made a perfect throw. They even appealed the third to see if Shohei left early. Shohei just, as soon as that ball touched his glove, Shohei was gone. And I mean, great for Shohei. Great for Shohei. And great for Aaron. But man, when that ball landed in his glove and I heard they said, "Oh, Shohei's breaking from the plate," I'm like, "Shohei against Aaron, Shohei against Aaron. This is gonna be great." And I didn't care who won, right? I don't care if Shohei got thrown out. So,
Yeah,
yep,
we're just here for good baseball. That's all.
yes, yes, yes. So, Jackson, do you have any honorable mentions this week?
Uh, I mean, I'm the worst offense in baseball over the past 7 weeks. Thank you. That is all.
Mic drop. Thank you.
As a Braves fan, thank you. It hurts. Please stop.
Um, my my honorable mention happened last night, and I don't care that it happened to the 2024 World Champion Los Angeles Dodgers. I care that we've been talking about this. We are at a position in the season where mental mistakes cannot happen. Physical mistakes, yes. Mental mistakes, no. And if you are a rookie or somebody who hasn't necessarily proved it yet, you've got to be very careful. If you are the guy that's proved it, who cares? Right? Who cares? So here's what I'm talking about. Last night, the final out was made at home plate at the Ravine. Andy Paez it was a ground ball to left field. The Dodgers are down by a run. There's a ground ball hit to, I'm sorry, the second and third. There's a ground ball hit to left field. Andy Paez decides that he's going to run through the stop sign. and he gets thrown out at home by a country mile. Their catcher, Jonah Hine, caught it, could literally turn around, order a couple of Dodger dogs, and wait for Andy to get there because he's got enough time. Now, some Dodger fans are arguing that Jonah Heim blocked the plate, that he had no way to like get around have an opportunity to get there, but he ran through a stop sign, and that's a mental mistake. Now, granted, the Dodgers are up by 7 against the Padres, and the Giants have fallen off. But imagine for a second, Jackson, if you are the Yankees, where oh no, imagine if you are the Cubs or the Reds or somebody that it's like a win or go home scenario, and you miss the playoffs by 1 game. Those mental mistakes cannot happen this time of the season. Mental mistakes in April, they happen May, June, no. Mid-June, no. No, 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 no. So am I was not happy with that because that's a mental mistake that can't. Now the Dodgers could go on a 14-game losing streak. Knock on wood that doesn't happen, but they could go on a 14-game losing streak. The Padres could go on a 14-game winning streak. Dodgers could end up in 3rd place. Who knows? That play though was terrible. You see Dino Evil putting up his hand like this. Stop. So Andy, if you watch this podcast, this means you stop at 3rd. This means you keep going. Okay, I'm sorry that I need to explain that to you in your Major League Baseball, but if you see the coach go like this, great, go. You see the coach go like this, that means throw the brakes on.
Yeah,
Jackson,
I mean,
done with rant.
and no, it's a great example to anybody, especially young ball players. I actually know the highlight you're talking about. They asked him in the post game. He didn't even look at the outfielder. So you might understand it if he saw the outfielder bobble the ball. But
Which he
even so,
did.
he didn't look. He did. He didn't look at the outfielder, and more importantly, he didn't look at his third base coach to send you or to hold you. That's why he's there. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you're right. Mental mistakes will kill you. It doesn't matter if you're 15 games over 500 or 15 games under 500. You're paid to play and win baseball games, and it's what you got to do. The fans will rip you apart for it, even though most of us, we get thrown out by an even larger margin all day, every day.
But we're not there getting paid for it. If
Yes.
we were there getting paid for it, it'd be a different story. But I literally, Jackson, I saw that and I was screaming at the TV because you never make the last out of an inning, much less the game at 3rd or at home, right?
No.
And when I saw, I mean, the announcer even said it. Dino's giving him the stop sign. Oh, Paez ran through the stop sign. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And so that's a heavy lesson to learn. And Andy Paez started out hot. He started out at hitting close to 400. He's now back down to earth. He's hitting like 230. You know what? If you can't figure that out, let's bring James Outman back up and we'll drop you back down. Let's put Chris Taylor there. I could care less, but
Yeah.
you don't make those mental mistakes.
Yeah. And, it's always rough when a fringe player makes something like that, a guy that gets, has options that can get called down, sent down
Mhm.
to be like punished per se. Because all the way Shohei Ohtani does that. People probably aren't they're ripping him apart, but the team can't really do anything about it. You're not going to bench Shohei Ohtani, but you're right. He's struggled recently, and that might be a reason why he's pushing. He's trying to keep that roster spot.
But
Baseball's a hard.
Shohei's earned it. That's the difference. Shohei's earned it. Andy Paez hasn't earned anything yet. He hasn't even played a full season. He's never broke camp. Like if Shohei does that, if Judge does that, if Stanton does that, if Juan Soto does that, if Bryce Harper does that, guys that have earned it, okay. But when you're a rookie, you haven't even broke camp yet. You no, you haven't earned it yet. So I'm just saying.
It's the difference. It's the difference between a quadruple A player and a major league player being able to execute and not make those mental mistakes.
Again, Andy, stop. Go. Stop. Go. Anyways. All right, Jackson. We've got some new fun stuff out. We got a 4th of July shirt out. We've got a really cool new shirt that's going to come out next month. We also have the new t-shirt club out where you can get a t-shirt a month. You can prepay for a t-shirt every single month, Jackson. We got dugout monks, we got all kinds of fun stuff, including the locker room now being $25. But Jackson, for those people that are listening to this, are we going to charge them full price?
Nope. Use code Jackson, same as every week on this weekly review. You get 10% off whatever you buy. And it stacks. It stacks with other stuff you got. So stacks with your locker room. So go
Racks and
get a
stacks.
discount to grill a burger and play baseball in this 4th of July weekend. Thank you.
100%. 100%. All right, my great and good friend. Let's do it again next week. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Sounds good.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.